It's almost time to call it a day for 2025. But not yet. Me personally, I've been preparing for this moment for years, all by systematically boycotting the Red Bull cans for the past 3 years, hoping to dent Verstappen's piggy bank labelled bribes for the FIA in case of another Abu Dhabi photo finish. Nevertheless, as we are inching closer to the finish line, I continue to be petty and try to avoid addressing the absolute elephant in the room, that is the impending Abu Dhabi love triangle we will all bear witness to this weekend. Oh God. Well, for the next 10 minutes or so, I will be doing my absolute best to try not to think about the horrors I'll be facing Sunday evening when the Dutch Beaver somehow fucking lands himself on the top step with the championship trophy in his greasy fucking mitts. But what has helped me in the past is just, taking a simple break, a short pause, looking around the paddock and, trying to completely block out the 2 camper vans at the end of the pit lane. Well, they can hardly be described as camper vans anymore, to be honest. Those things look more like Apple headquarters on wheels to me. But in doing so, I've also found myself realizing, you know what? There's other drivers on the racetrack as well. How was their season? How did they experience the 2025 season? That's interesting. How have they been? Haven't seen them in a while, to be honest. The cameraman has certainly not been gracious to them, and their names don't necessarily have to start with M, O, or L. Well, with L, still definitely. Okay, that's like the names don't end with axe, car, and Ndo. Oh, fuck. Okay, it doesn't really work, does it? Anyways, as part of this, I've set my sights on one team in particular. One which usually certainly does get a good portion of screen time every race. Certainly get a good majority of the radio exchanges transmitted on air.
Can use K1, you're close.
Leave me to it, please.
K1 available.
Yes, I know. Leave me to it, please.
To avoid the denied DRS, we suggest upshift.
Please leave it. Yes, please leave it.
And last week, having focused on the old, overhyped has-been, I think it's time to take a bit more of a positive outlook on things and peek over to the other side of the garage. Looking for the young, fashionable, attractive, hypnotizing, magnetic, juicy. Yeah, I know, I'm too late. But I'll be here, next in line, just in case. If you change your mind, baby boy. And if history's taught us anything, okay, that's fucked up. While Red Bull were able to come up with an answer for the McLaren's performance, well, half of the carriage at least, but the other one's already been sacked from the team and on the first flight to Tokyo, so I won't go hammering on the poor kid too much. Konnichiwa and have a good flight, mate. Ferrari, on the other hand, has not been able to come up with anything, really. Anything that would even remotely symbolize a potential challenger to the 2 orange peels. And while for Lewis, I could write off some of the performance due to him getting, used to the absolute shitbox that is the Scuderia car, that only makes up for the difference between the 2 drivers. With regards to the rest of the absolute abyss lying between the McLaren and Ferrari constructor points tally, there's not really a good explanation for that, to be honest. It's a fucking mystery how they've managed to not develop anything even close to the front runners. I mean, fucking Red Bull were able to blow them out of the water, and they're running a 2-for-1 deal on their driver lineup. To be fair, it is also difficult to compare this year. I mean, it's not really that one of the teams has all of a sudden shot miles ahead of them on the track. I mean, yeah, arguably Mercedes are still a car length and a half ahead of them, but that's also thanks to Georgie being the slim bastard that he is. The way he's built, he probably weighs a total of 3 stone. How's my boy supposed to compete weight-wise with those juicy cheeks on him? Cheeks, you motherfuckers. The ones on his fucking face, you dirty bastards. But for real, this year, it was a mission impossible trying to get on the podium. The 2 McLarens were on something from another planet looking at their pace. Literally, at some point, seconds faster on lap pace from the rest. Seconds. That is just absurd considering they were at the bottom of the rubbish bin fighting for the half-eaten muffin with Williams just 5 years ago. There must be some shady shit going on there, I swear. I really have to investigate him this Christmas holidays. I'm going to look into it, 100%. I'll need to move some things, of course, on my calendar, but I think I can make it work. Oh, and of course, I can't go without mentioning this beauty. As I said already in my Hamilton clip, not like any of you actually watched it. For some reason, whenever I bring up the British night in any of my videos, y'all just decide, nah, let me fucking skip on Dion's fuckery this week. It's only a fucking 7-time world champion we're talking about, right? Nothing to see here. But when I put out a clip on 19-year-old girls screaming at each other, fighting in over-dramatized go-karts for a fucking pat on the back from Susie, y'all just go nuts. Actually, makes sense. I'd watch that over staring at a deteriorating senior citizen any day. But what I have said in that clip is that the chemistry within the team could not be any worse. To be fair, before, I could never really say any of it for sure. That, that the team is internally engulfed in pure chaos, a pure monarchy with each person trying to fight for themselves, fighting for survival in the kleptocratic and materialistic world that is Ferrari. But it was all conjecture, all based on the results, interviews given by the drivers, and just vibe I was getting from the team. Vibe. What a word I just pulled out my ass. I'm so hip, mate. I'm one with the kids now. No, maybe not. Whereas finally we do get a bit of a sneak peek into what is actually happening over there with literally the chairman of the whole company, the big boss of the absolutely massive corporation that is Ferrari, saying in an interview that everything's up shit's creek and our two ballerinas do yappa too much.
Yappa, like a rat.
Okay, he didn't use the words yappa exactly, but close enough. Yeah, that alone shows to me that things are just phenomenal over there. Just rosy. Not toxic, not authoritarian. Nobody's misinformed. Everything's peachy. Yeah, definitely. Honestly, if I was working my ass off for my company, literally struggling and mentally falling apart because the equipment they gave me is eons worse than what our local neighborhood Uncle Pete has in his garage, and the CEO of the whole company said I should be fucking around less and clocking in more work hours, first thing on my to-do list would be to shit on his driveway. Honestly, no joke. I mean, to be frank, I also can't really blame him, can I? I mean, after all these years at the absolutely abysmal and lackluster outfit that is the Ferrari team, I would too get tired of it all. I mean, if I may, I'd say this year Charlie certainly didn't look happy racing. But he also didn't look as depressed and out of place as he did in 2020. That was a fucking dark time, wasn't it?
4 podiums. That is sad. That is making me depressed.
Instead, he just looks tired. Tired of losing, tired of being outscored by the other drivers, tired of all the mistakes, tired of all the shitty strategy calls, tired of all the fucking stupid radio messages he gets every single race, tired of saying the fact that he's just another disappointing, ridiculous and horrific weekend, and tired of, well, I'd say Ferrari. Anyone who had to day in and day out go out there, eat absolute shit in front of millions of people, only to then have to walk through a whole row of reporters asking the same old obnoxious question. I mean, what the fuck is he supposed to answer? I don't know. Something clearly went wrong. If I knew what happened, I wouldn't be standing here and talking to you having been kicked out in Q2 by a Williams, would I? Fucking Jesus. Honestly, sometimes I wonder how nobody's punched the lads behind the microphone yet. I guess everyone in the paddock is too well behaved, too good of an upbringing to start shit in front of cameras. Or maybe it's just because Max is too good to be put in these types of conversations. That fucker would start swinging if you asked him a stupid question 2 GPs in a row, that's for sure. Right, Esteban? I think the silver lining here is pretty damn clear. I mean, he's faced all of it this year. Mounting depression, horrific internal team dynamics, an absolute trash car, massive competition from the younger lads around him, and yet, he's still here. Put it this way, he was arguably sitting in one of the worst cars that could be still marginally considered a front runner. Honestly, really debatable at this point. I think a couple more bad seasons and we can talk about Williams officially placing a bid for their spot at the front. Just the fact that we're jokingly discussing this is fucking mad. Williams coming after Ferrari. What the fuck? But despite all this, he still managed to come out 5th. To be fair, a long ways away from Russell, that's for sure. Red Bull only had one active driver on the roster this year. But he's finished in front of his teammate. A 7-time world champion, no less. Or was it 8? I forget. And he finished in front by a fucking margin as well. 80 points. Put it this way, Albon is closer to Hamilton than Hamilton is to Charlie. Yeah. Puts things into fucking perspective, doesn't it? And to be fair, I think I'm starting to see a common denominator here. I mean, shit upgrades, horrific team chemistry, loss of that competitive mindset, that absolute dog in him. I mean, it's all got a single cause here. So, if anything, this speaks to the absolute talent the lad holds with himself. It is no doubt he's one of the best drivers on the grid, but unfortunately, he's been indoctrinated in the wrong team. Who knows? If Lando came before him and snagged that spot in the Scuderia, things could be different, And Charlie would be the one battling the stone-cold killer Piastri for the championship. or he would crumble under pressure faster than Red Bull sacks the second driver. We never know. All we can do is acknowledge that Charlie has it in him to, at the very least, pose a serious challenge for the title. I have my faith in the man, that's for sure. You got this, mate. Just please stop posting cute pictures in the new Ferrari match, for the love of God. I keep getting hooked on these fucking marketing ploys, and every time it's the same shit. You know, first it was the new t-shirt designs. That fit looked like a fucking trash bag hanging off me, honestly. Then I got the sweater. Fuck. That shit made me look like a fucking potato sack with arms attached. And now it's the new caps. I know if I buy it, I know I will look like I'm a fucking balding homeless hobbit. But it just looks so fine on young Charlie. I guess that's what happens when you're looking like an absolute snack. Right, sorry. Engaged. Sorry. But fuck it, you know? Just because there's goalkeeper, it doesn't mean you can't score, right? Okay, maybe I should just shut up. Yeah. Alright. Cheers, everyone. I'm out. Still need to edit this thing tonight. Maybe I'll go buy a monster can while I'm at it as well. Oh, the almighty F1 gods. Please force the Dutchman's Red Bull cannon to anti-stall when the lights go out. And make sure that random Williams ends up bumping him on the opening laps. Taking him out. He's had his fair share of F1 glory. Alright? Let some youngins in for a taste. Actually, odds are higher if it's a Haas in it. Ocon, you slippery eel you. It's your time to shine, baby.